This is the Art Marketing Minute with Eric Rhodes, author of the Amazon best-selling book, Make More Money Selling Your Art. In the Marketing Minute, we answer your questions to help your art career. Brought to you by artmarketing.com, the place to go to learn more about marketing. Now, here's your host, Art Magazine publisher, Eric Rhodes.
Thank you, Jim Kipping, and thank you for joining us today. I am here. My goal is to eliminate the idea of the starving artist. So let's get right to today's questions. Here's a question from Janet of Queen, New Mexico. How many paintings that are good enough should I have before I start marketing my art? Well, loaded question, Janet. How do you know if it's good enough, right? Now, you may think it's good enough, but somebody else may not. If you're putting your paintings out there and they're selling, they're good enough for somebody. So that's a good start. So let's get some experience. Let's do a little show, set up in a local restaurant, do some things like that to see. And anytime you do a show, you want to have, at least 8 or 10 paintings and probably twice as many if you possibly can. I would get expert opinions. Try to get some people who are expert artists, gallery owners, or others to give you some opinions. Are you ready? And be ready, because they might not tell you are. So you just got to keep practicing, get ready if you're not. If you want to get into a gallery, of course, you got to have a body of work, and they want to see consistency across multiple paintings. You don't want to have one good painting, and you certainly don't want to take a painting that you did in a workshop with an instructor who worked on it and put that out there, because that's considered a no-no, okay? It may be something you did, but if you didn't do it entirely, or if it's not an original composition, it will get discovered. Anyway, it's never too early to start marketing yourself. What I mean by that is you can be gathering names. You don't necessarily have to be advertising yet, putting yourself out there, but you can test the market, do some shows, and start building a list of interested people. Anytime you get anybody interested, ask for a business card or ask them to give you their email address. You'll put them on your eventual newsletter, and that way you can be building names. So that's part of what you can do. All right. Anyway, I think you want to have a fair number of paintings before you get rolling. Probably a dozen is a good number. You don't want to look empty if you're doing a website. You want to have some red dots, some sold paintings. That would be nice too. Next question from Sandy in El Dorado, Arkansas. Sandy, welcome to the Plein Air Podcast. She says, or he says, I don't know if it's a he or a she, it says, I'm looking for a website. Should I go with a company that focuses on building websites for artists? Should I look for a shopping cart on my artist's website? Should I go with one of these sites that they advertise on TV? Well, Sandy, look, there are a lot of people out there that build websites. It's become kind of a commodity with a lot of people, but there are people out there that do websites just for artists, and they offer some tools that kind of make it easier for you. Why not consider one of those? That's what I would say. It's not always about how much money you're going to save. It's about, what's going to work well for you. But you have to ask yourself why you want a website. I got an email from some lady the other day, and she said, I spent some money. I got a website. I put the website up. I had it up for a year. I only had like 30 visitors, and I didn't sell any paintings. Well, what do you expect? Really? I mean, the reality is that a website is kind of like having your name in the phone book, right? There are millions, tens of millions, probably more than tens of millions of websites out there. How are you going to get discovered? How are they going to find out about you? What are you going to do to drive them there? So you got to ask yourself, why do you want a website? Because maybe you could do it on a Facebook page, right? And what's your purpose? If you want to be discovered, you can drive them to a lot of different places, website or Facebook page or otherwise, but you really want to ask yourself, if I'm going to have a website, what's my strategy? How am I going to drive people to my website? And that's what you really want to be thinking about. So, I don't know. You'd probably want to start out and experiment a little bit, see what you can learn. Having a shopping cart, if you're thinking about selling your artwork online, might be a good idea. Shopping carts can be a little bit more expensive, but some of the services offer them. But don't necessarily set high expectations. I know a lot of artists who are on a lot of websites, and a lot of them are not selling anything on their websites. A few are, but a lot of them are not. And they're selling in other places, or they're driving people to their websites by advertising to places that have known collectors, like Fine Art Connoisseur Magazine or Plein Air Magazine. So you might want to consider those things. Just get out there and try some things. There's not necessarily always a right or wrong. There's also platforms like Etsy and eBay, might be a good way to experiment. But Anyway, this may be helpful. Well, this has been the Art Marketing Minute with me, Eric Rhodes. My goal in life is to eliminate the idea of the starving artist and to help your dreams actually come true. So if you want to submit questions, simply email eric@artmarketing.com. And to learn more about marketing ideas, you can visit artmarketing.com. Thanks for listening.